Hello everyone, and this is my review for TNA Impact Wrestling on July 29th, 2015, and this week's Impact was all about setting up the No Surrender show the next week. At least in most cases, it was in a way of setting it up. You obviously did have the matches and everything you got throughout the night to continue on that setup. But you had promos from Bram and the re-showing of the promo with Mr. Anderson, setting up their match for the next week. You had Brooke Tessmacher, you had Brooke going up against Marty Bell of the Dollhouse in a match, and you had that continuation with the Dollhouse and Gail Kim in there as well to set up their, I guess, 3-on-1 handicap match for next week. Okay, in that sense, but a lot of these matches were used in the sense to build for the next week, and that's not a bad thing. Don't get me wrong. And the matches this week were relatively good as well. You also had at the beginning of the show, and this is probably one of the worst ones of the night, and actually most of the night was actually pretty good. This was just honestly one of the worst ones. I like the promo Austin Aries went out there and did. He talking about how much better he was than the X Division and everything in that sense, and how bigger than he was than the X Division title. I get where they were going with that. And, naming out Rockstar Spud. This is like a start of a quick storyline. I get where they're going with it. I thought it was good, having Bully Ray out there. And then Rockstar Spud interrupts because he was named particularly in there. And I liked where they went with it. Until, actually, it still even made sense where Bully Ray goaded Austin Aries into putting his career on the line. Where I felt where it went bad was the aspect of, Austin Aries says, it's like, I can't go into this match without getting something in return if I win. And all he says that he wants in return is Rockstar Spud's name. So it'd be Rockstar Austin Aries. Really? Really? No. That's where you ask for a title shot. And I get that, you have the heel champion, but still you ask for the title shot there to make it seem like you're putting your career on the line. And all you're doing is asking for this guy's name? Really? That's all you're going for? Really? I'm going to use the Miz thing here and go, really? Because it just did not come off good at all in that sense. But like I said, most of the show actually did come off really good. I liked the promo with Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy, and EC3, and they're setting up Full Metal Mayhem for the next week. That came off relatively well. The main event, basically the main event match with Mickie James, Magnus, and James Storm and Serena, I felt came off really good as well. Kind of basic in the terms of a mixed tag, but still came off really good. You got the whole sense of, the aspect that, Mickie James saying this is her last match, everything like that. That came off relatively well, so you kind of got the feel-good moment, everything like that. So that wasn't overly bad. The promo setting it up beforehand with Mickie James and Magnus came off relatively well as well. And, just overall, the show, for the most part, like I said, was relatively good. That was, like what I said with the Austin Aries promo at the beginning of the show, was the only thing that was kind of blah. The Tigre Uno spot, the continual promo with Tigre Uno, I felt came off really good. Obviously, yes, he's where they're doing the video recorded down in Mexico, obviously all in Spanish. So in order to grasp what he was saying, obviously you would have to read the subtitles. But the words that were being placed there, really helped put him over as what he was for and how he the type of person he was. And I liked the way they did that. And like I said, obviously you'd have to read the subtitles to get that, unless you actually speak Spanish or understand Spanish in some way, shape, or form. Obviously I don't, but reading through the through the subtitles there, like I could grasp what he was saying in his voice, and then reading the subtitles what it was saying, you know, helped put him over a little bit more for me. And obviously he said something afterwards with Donald Trump in there. You know, obviously the words that Donald Trump used a while back, and then this was pre-taped probably pretty close to that time frame, but now it's been weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. You kind of knew Trump wasn't going to show up in TNA. I mean, I get it. They were trying to get some kind of publicity out of that. I get what they were trying for. You knew, like anybody who would have tuned in to actually think he would show up, yeah, you probably should. Probably most people already knew he wasn't going to show up on the show. But I did like the promo afterwards that he. That they went to the live crowd with him and Christy Amy. I actually did like that quick snippet promo right there as well. So basically calling out Donald Trump at that point. I liked how they did everything in that sense. So overall, that portion was actually pretty good as well, and I feel like they did a good job of putting over Tigre Ono in this case, in the terms of promo work. So that was a relatively good spot on the show as well. Not the James Storm. I already talked about James Storm, Magnus, and Mickey James and Serena. I already talked about that whole match and everything. The Jeff Jarrett Hall of Fame induction. You know, in the aspect that it was done in the middle of the ring, felt a little weird. The full induction and everything, you don't have like the big ceremony and everybody kind of being in a crowd or anything like that. And I get it. It's TNA versus how WWE does their Hall of Fame. But even the other like Hall of Fame moments, like the speeches happened like in a banquet of some kind. You got some kind of banquet, you got some kind of thing for it. So, you know, the fact that it was done in the ring, not bad. Not bad by any stretch of the imagination. I thought it came off relatively good. But Jeff Jarrett's speech itself, that's where the main focal point is going to be. I really liked the speech he gave out there. You could tell it was fully heartfelt from him thanking everybody who had been in Impact Wrestling, been in TNA, been a part of that company, whether they had been doing ring setup versus being a wrestler or being in the offices or anything in that sense. Like, you could grasp the emotion and the heartfelt nature he wanted to get out of that speech in the entire thing. I can't even say this as a promo because it was pretty much just a speech, and everything, like, you could tell he was getting choked up at times. He thanked Karen, he thanked pretty much everybody he could, and I like the aspect. Obviously it wasn't everybody, but it was, you know, a lot of people that meant a lot to Jeff Jarrett coming out afterwards to shake his hand, everything like that. So, you know, I liked where they went. I actually ended up liking where they went with this, even though it wasn't your typical type of Hall of Fame induction ceremony. It came off relatively good in the end. I actually liked the atmosphere with the live crowd there. It came off really good. So overall, outside of that aspect at the beginning of the show with Austin Aries and how, like, he's only putting his name on the, or he's only getting he's putting his career on the line, and all he would get in return is Rockstar Spud's name. Outside of that, this TNA Impact, I felt, came off really good. It helped build the next week for No Surrender, and it came off really good this week. That's just on my own personal opinion. It actually came off good this week. And yeah, actually, that's all I had. I don't even know where I was trying to go with that. That's all I have to say. It was a good show this week. I liked where they went with everything. We'll see how they build with it next week, and we'll see how No Surrender comes off. And that's my review for TNA Impact Wrestling, and I thank you guys for watching.